everyone, and welcome to yet another wonderful show by Wild Moments, or I should say Wild Moments powered by Explorer. I don't know why still after all this time I cannot say this right. But lovely to have everyone here. Joining me today is at long last Taylor. I think we have not done a show together in quite a while, so it's always nice, to see you at the end of the screen.
Oh, yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a while. Is it as windy and miserable on your side as it is on mine?
I mean, it is, I don't know what it wants to be. So Taylor and I are actually live in the same town, but almost like on opposite ends of the town, and the weather can be very localized. So, I might be having a hailstorm and then she might have a sunny sky. So it's been something. We're not meant really to be having any more rain, but it poured yesterday. I think pretty much all over the show yesterday or the day before. All blurred into my mind now. So it's quite an odd situation, but I mean, it's not looking great. I'm not gonna lie. How's it looking your
Uh,
side?
yeah, we've had a lot of rain. There was some rumbles of thunder, but at least I'm inside today, so I can't complain too much.
That always makes a difference when you don't have to be outside, then it can rain all at once. I
Exactly.
I had laundry outside and then I had heard the thunder, rushed, did everything, put everything inside, and then the sun started shining. So this is the stuff that we have to deal with.
Typical.
Yeah. But anyway, I see there are a lot of people that have been joining us already. And please remember, this is live and interactive. So if you want to send us any questions, feel free to do so. We can chat a lot amongst ourselves, but we also like chatting to other people. So please do send in your comments and questions. I'm going to go through some of the hellos and the people that have already joined us. So we've got Mindy Tilipo, Taylor and Ali, great combo, go girl power. Woohoo. Yeah, we love a good girl power combo. It's always my favorite. Bridget McKinney wants to know, Taylor, how was India?
It was amazing. Also, I feel like I'm going to sneeze, so I'm going to say excuse me in advance in case I do. It was great. The food was amazing. People were so welcoming. There was chaos, but kind of controlled chaos, which I was surprised by. And I didn't get scared once while everybody was driving, which I was quite surprised by because I thought that was going to terrify me the most.
Yeah, because it's somehow it works. It's 2,000 cars working at the same time, and then everybody's moving and shouting at each other, yet nobody bumps into one another. It's
It's
magic. It's
crazy.
not how it
I'm going to
happens.
try that in Hood.
Oh, I'm not sure. No. Amberco, you're waving hello with coffee, and thanks to everyone for today's show. Jack the Boer, you're saying good morning. Jean Gale, good morning from near Seattle with coffee and blue sky. I feel like that's very good. For the last couple of times that we've chatted, I think you've had like rainy things because you guys are also in a change of season, but we're finally going into the cold one and you guys are coming out of it.
Woohoo.
I'm actually excited for winter, so I'm not going to pretend that I'm sad about this. Um, W. Bishar, you're saying hello, Toronto. Ooh, we've got a lot of cold people today. Laura MC, good morning. I have prior commitments this morning. Oh no, that's terrible. So I'll have to watch the show and rewind. Well, hopefully it'll be a good one for you to watch. Patricia Wolf is saying hi. Andy, good afternoon. Taylor and Ellie, remember to kiss a bat today because it's International Bat Appreciation Day. Where's Trishala when you need her?
My goodness.
Also, I wouldn't really recommend kissing a bat in real life. We do love them. They are wonderful creatures that they obviously have a very important role, but they also carry some diseases. So, do not try to kiss a bat. We can appreciate them from a distance and send them kisses. Maybe that's a better way of, going at the bats.
There we go. It sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, you're Zygo, the usual namaste. Namaste back to you. Trees Bishop, you're saying, hello everyone. I have cool water in my steel bottle with me. So hot here today. Alrighty. I'm actually very happy. I'm starting to forget what it's like to feel cold. Sorry, I mean hot. I'm gonna remember vividly what it is like to be cold in the next couple of months, and then I'll complain about that because it's what we do with the weather. All right. And then last but not least for now, Casper's 3D goes, good morning, and you've got some hot coffee and you are ready for the show. Well, it is wonderful to see everybody's joined in. And then if you're joining late, please just say hello. But it seems like Kirst has a very wonderful selection of clips for today. So let's go and have a first look at the very first one of the day. Shouldn't have said first look because some of you might have already seen it. Oh, run, Impala, run.
What are they running from? Ah, that makes sense. Oh,
Oh, that's not. I will potentially suggest viewer discretion based on what we're hearing.
hello, wild dog.
You just get a fright from the other wild dog.
Oh, lots of, there we go. This is still one of my favorite interactions with all the species.
There's always chaos, isn't there? Oh, so okay. Again, viewer discretion is advised. So what we heard earlier was probably the demise of this impala that just ran. I couldn't tell if it was a male or a female. I don't know if you saw it better, Taylor, when it was running across. I just saw a dash of an impala. I don't know if it had horns or not. Oh my
No, I didn't. I'm watching Pixels at the moment. What Sprite does its best with its Wi-Fi.
God. Well, it could be like you're watching it like me because I also like it just ran very fast
Yeah.
across the screen. So
No, I didn't get a good look, but this is awesome to see.
that a
Who do you
hyena.
think killed the impala? Do you think the wild dogs got it first?
I think so, just from the events. I mean, just from look at that Ziggy. Waldo was just there for retaliation. Oh, that's very funny. Look, just judging by what we saw earlier, it was just like the one so it was the impala running and then a wild dog, and then we heard the noise. So I suspect the wild dog got to it. I thought perhaps it would have been in the water, but then obviously hyenas are not shy of taking food water. So if it had just, oh, that's so sweet. So if it had just killed the impala, or just managed to injure it to the point that it couldn't really move, then hyenas would have jumped in and taken over. They
This
stopped.
is insane. This is the longest, most action-packed dam cam footage I've ever seen in my life. Like it's going on forever. This is amazing.
I mean, this is also this is a Serengeti dam cam. So imagine everybody's out for game drive. I
Oh
don't
my
know
gosh,
what
I
time.
thought this looked familiar.
Yeah, and then everybody's enjoying having their best time.
Look at that. This is insane. This is a dream sighting, everybody. Wow.
Okay, so Kirsten is saying this is, of course, the waterhole by the lodge, but all the guests got to see the sighting before going out on morning game drives. So talk about like a proper awakening while on safari. I mean, how do you top this going out on safari like in the morning? I would have been like, guys, I'm out. I'm just like,
Yeah, I don't know. Do you still go out? Do you just do a little loop, go for a nice tea and coffee break in the bush, and then just,
yeah,
I reckon,
it's just like,
avoid.
this is really like the topic that everyone's like, this is what we really want to see. And then, here you are having your morning coffee. And it's magical how sometimes it just happens that way.
Yeah, that is always, well, it happened to us last year in Zambia where we,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
uh, remember, we were
What's one of them?
going to do, yeah, no, Zambia, we're going to go on a walk. And so we left a
Oh,
little bit later and literally watched lions hunt a waterbuck right in front of the camp, and all the guests had already left. It was insane. Watched the whole thing develop.
I mean, it's really good when that happens. And I don't know, Chris, if we can go back to there's the first scene where the hyenas just like start nipping at the hyena, and it's quite funny because there's always this comparison, and obviously hyenas are after other predators and they get this really bad rep because they follow the lions, they follow the leopards, they obviously also follow the wild dogs. But I think they are up to an extent, because wild dogs are not going to risk injury for this, because especially if there's a clan of hyenas, but they eventually, it's almost like they start getting frustrated with the hyenas and they're not going for the kill, but look like they start going for the rear end of the hyenas, which to me is always very funny because the hyena really wanted to put up one after the could have really gone for the wild dog, but
I suppose in a way it's like mobbing, right? Let's hassle this other predator because stole our food, so now we're gonna make it as unpleasant as possible. I could go into that puddle.
Yeah. How the hyenas always know, and then they just put their little tail in between, their legs, and then they just have like
Yeah,
this one. I think that's one of my favorite hyena moves. That's so cool.
it's still going. I mean, like, I know this was just the second bit, but it's just like, that's insane. How perfect that the animals just keep running back to the same point. Well, at least the amount, well, I can't even English. What am I trying to say? Anyways,
Um,
one of those days, I've come back and I thought I wasn't going to get sick this time. And
uh,
yeah, failed with my wonderful sinus infection at the moment, just in case you're wondering. So I can't think or speak. So please excuse me.
Alrighty, Taylor, we're gonna give
One
you
of
a
those
break.
days.
You're doing great. You're doing great. So let's go on to the second clip and then just have a look at that. So so we can carry on. At least this is also very special sighting, actually. So if you guys are looking in, then there we've got, she's a very famous elephant around the area because of that massive hole that she has there. She's actually known as Ranzekile. And she is an adult cow, and she was born like that. It's not a poaching injury. She hasn't been hurt by humans. She is just trunkly different. That is
Have you
amazing.
seen her before, Ali?
No, I haven't seen her I would love to, but I haven't seen her in real life.
Me neither. It's also an elephant that I'm always hoping to come across.
I know. Not just Susan, hey?
No, I'll
No,
think I'll lose my mind if I bump into Susan one day.
I think you probably will. No. So
But
one
that's
of the
just
things, oh, sorry, go.
oh, that's no, no, no. I'm just here's me sliding my head from side to side, looking, trying to see exactly how she's breathing.
Well, I mean, I know. So we have a friend in the area who's a wildlife aide. His name is Joel Alves, and then he actually darted her. I think it was about 2 years ago because so there's an organization in this area called Elephants Alive, and then they follow elephants in the area. So they do all sorts of research on elephants, and of course, such a unique individual causes concern, after her. So I think they've been following her for about 10 years or so. So I know it's quite a long time. But when Joel darted her, they were unsure if perhaps, she had been injured, like if she was getting worse because it was in a drought period and there was a lot of mucus coming out from the top. Because if you see elephants generally, they fill up their trunk all the way up to get the water and then they drink, like you can see the one side doing. But she obviously has to do it a little bit differently because otherwise the water come out pouring from the top. Oh, that was perfect. So she's learned to adopt, but she's had calves. I mean, does she look a little bit pregnant to you there, Taylor? She looks a bit bulgy, doesn't she?
Yeah,
That gives me
yeah.
the
She's
heebie-jeebies. Why are you
bulging
scratching
right out of the side of my screen.
there?
Oh no, I just saw that now. I just realized what she was doing. That made me feel a little bit uncomfortable.
That
But still,
yeah, I don't know how I would feel about like scratching, my brain like she did over there.
that's why I was like, it made, when you get like the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
100%. So, Tim, you're saying that it looks like the water is coming out. I mean, potentially, yes, there could very likely be so because the elephants, when they drink water, they suck up the water in their trunk. So they have to, in a way, correctly measure how far this goes. So in a normal elephant, there's a membrane that automatically goes out, and so that the water doesn't go into the brains and wherever it's not meant to go. But she is different. So if she sucks up the water way too hard, then it will pour out. So I'm sure because she's drinking here and she's in the water, there's water coming out as we can see. But even when she's not around, I know and that's what one of the reasons why they darted her about 2 years ago, but there was a lot of sort of like mucus coming out. So they were maybe she had it, maybe we should call her Rantequila Taylor. She's also has a
Sure. In a past life,
well, or a parallel one. You never know.
or a parallel one. Yes, you're right. You never know. This is just also, again, it just proves to us, we always look at animals and we always worry so much about are they going to be able to survive without intervention? And yes, she was born with it. But again, it's an open wound. And we would all be panicking. And I'm sure you can probably see a lot of that in the comments on social media when she does pop up that, well, aren't we helping her? But here we go. She lives a pretty normal life.
Yeah, she does pretty well. Mindy Telipo, you're wondering how does not get constantly infected? And that is a great question, one that I'm not sure of. I would imagine like she cleans it and it could, she could have a constant sinus infection. I mean, if she's scratching, it's because like the wrong stuff is going in there. But I would assume like, she just breathes differently. I know like her ears are also a little bit different. It's almost like her head wasn't formed properly or like her skin was like too tight on her face but she's doing well. She's had I think 2 or 3 calves that people know of. I don't know if they've survived. I would imagine. Well, she didn't seem to have one right next to her right now. So I'm not sure if you know anything about it, Taylor, but
No.
I think in terms of wildlife and success of wildlife, we measure it in the fact, are they able to reproduce or are they able to care for their young? So if she's had calves in the past and then she's able to raise them, then it means that she must be in decent enough condition because her body wouldn't be able to take it anyway if this was the situation. So it's I think it would be quite something to see, but you know what? I would just like to hear her breathe. Like, can you hear her?
Yeah.
Does it sound differently? Like, and I'm like, she hangs around not too far from where Taylor and I are. She actually travels quite a distance because I think they've seen her all the way from like sort of Singita to Baluli. So she just goes and it's basically all of the greater Kruger. She just, she's a traveler. She likes it. Maybe that's why she has so many sinus. She really is your spirit animal, Taylor. She travels.
100%.
She fights
That's
with
me.
death. That sounds like a good thing.
Kylie, did you ever hear not ever hear, did you ever see the elephant cow that used to hang around in the southern Sabi sands? It had a seriously deformed trunk. She didn't have very much of it left, and she was quite small. Her calf was also like dwarfed in size, and she
No.
was often seen around that area. When she used to breathe, it's like something off of Jurassic Park. The only way I can describe it is the scene where the Triceratops is on its side and taking those deep breaths in the first movie. That's what it sounds like.
Maybe she like really struggled to breathe. I mean, it would be fascinating. I would like to see her like. Oh, W. Borchard, this is actually a good question. What about bugs getting into her sinuses? As a bug expert, Taylor, what do you think?
As a bug expert, yes. I have inhaled many bugs in my life, and from experience, I mean, if there's not really much of an infection there, I suppose like what happens to us, sometimes we end up swallowing bugs. I'm pretty sure at some point, if you drive in an open vehicle, you would have had a bug up the nose. I think it just goes in and out and does its thing. Um,
Yeah.
you could get
I mean,
very
'cause
technical. What about if a bee stung it? I have no, that probably wouldn't be very good.
I mean, to be honest, like if it were something that is flying, like not many bugs would be around them except for flies and things and stuff like that. But a little fly would just probably go down the trunk.
Mhm.
Or, just
Check out the
like
other side, like a slip and slide.
like a, well, the ultimate slip and slide. That is always something. But I don't think she would have to worry. And bigger bugs and things like that, the elephant will likely obviously hear it because they've got a fantastic sense of hearing. So anything that flutters around them, they don't like it. They just move away, they swat it away. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. She seems to be great. So she's an adult cow, even though, and I think that just shows you how resilient animals are. We always write them off and we get really worried and we're like, oh, they're not going to make it. And then she's just like, I've been doing this for the last 20 years. I'm fine. So that is always very special to see. But I'm excited we actually got to see that one. I don't remember which camera this was. I will tell you now. Oh, at Timbavati Waterside. So she is in the Timbavati at the moment, which is nice. It's not too far from us. So maybe, well, Taylor, you are closer. So maybe if you just like shout, she'll come visit.
Scan the fence lines.
Why not? Can always do that. Alrighty, but let's head on to our next clip before we spend the entire afternoon talking about elephants, which we really know we can do. Before I forget, this is an elephant pen in Botswana. I mean, all those Mopani trees should give it away. And that Very funny.
Wiggling its tail a lot.
I feel like I'm watching my dog, actually. Like, you know, he does the same skippy jumps when he's playing. Yeah, maybe the Mopani tree really is the enemy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to look. I know a few people suggested maybe it was a bee, and I was like kind of looking around. It did look like it was wiggling its tail a lot more. I think it's just goofy, like that
Yeah.
feel good moment, that surge of energy, and then yeah, again, I look. It feels like I'm looking at Tucker or Kambur,
Yeah.
easy,
Yeah, I know. And you
just
know
having
what?
fun.
Like it looks like a very big antelope, but if you look at the size of the horns, this is a very young individual still. So it wouldn't be unheard of for it to just still be playing. Like we forget that wildlife also do that. Sometimes they just have a good time because they can have a good time. And I mean, kudu are not the most aggressive of antelope. They generally try to avoid actually locking horns with one another because they can get interlocked and then it's complicated. So they resort to other things. But I think this is just like this. He just seemed to be playing and then just like, you know, horning the thing and then going away and then getting a kick. Like I can just hear the narration in my head and be like, "Ah, I'm gonna kill you." Ah! And then he goes in and then jumps out. Ah, I'm so cool. I really, I really don't think that this I really do think he just had the zoomies. I'm not sure if there was a bee. Because also like if there was something that was constantly annoying it, it would have moved away. So there's no need for the kudu to actually stay there if the bees are there. So no, the mopani trees that are all around it wasn't really feeding on them. It carried on honing it. So like, sure, if it was a bee, maybe it would have gone back once and then gone away. But I don't think I'm going to go with a B theory on this one, just because of its behavior. You know, when something annoys you, you just leave it and go away.
No, absolutely. And also, if you walk through a stunted Mapani forest like that, you will see and find so many sweat bees, the Mapani bees, everywhere, more so than normal honey bees.
Yeah. And those ones, I mean, they would be attracted to, they're looking for moisture. So they would be around like the nose, the ears, that kind of stuff. And they're not aggressive. They just
Yeah.
painful because they just come. And then like, even if they're on top of you, sometimes when you go gorilla trekking, then you have a lot of them, especially because you start sweating. And then that's when you really feel them like lots. And you're just like, please just leave me alone. Um, JJ, you are wondering if bees sting animals just minding their business. As in, like, I mean, no, like a bee is not gonna go out of her way to be like, I don't like that kudu over there, so I'm gonna go sting it. It's generally if they do sting it, it's a response to something. You know, it's they've been triggered somehow, as in like I am protecting my colony, or you know, I was here first and now your face is too close to me, I'm protecting myself, and that kind of thing. They don't, at least not the ones that we get around here, they're not really out there to get other creatures just because they can. I mean, at least that's been my experience. With the bees over here. Don't know if you've had a different experience, Taylor.
No, very much the same. The only
Yeah.
thing they unintentionally do is when they swarm and how terrified the rest of the animals are. That's always interesting.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
why are
even
they
when they storm, I
singing?
mean,
Bees.
they're moving their entire colony from one place to the other. So like they're super vulnerable, and then they might be a bit more aggressive than not. But generally speaking, they're not going to go and target individuals if they're around. There are some studies that have suggested that having beehives close to trees that you want to protect from elephants deters the elephants to some extent because the elephants don't really like the bees, but it's not like because the bees go there and sting them. They just like around and then the elephants don't like the noise and they're just a nuisance, really. Trees Visop, you're definitely saying that it is play behavior. Poor guy, he has no friends to play with, so he uses the tree. Feel like that happens a lot with young antelope, doesn't it? I mean, you would have seen it as well. Like impala do it all the time. Don't even find buffalo doing it every now and again, just fording all of the trees. What other animals am I missing? Nyala. I've never seen a diker do it, but wouldn't really spend that much time with adult dikers, to be honest. So just thinking all of the common things that we have around here. Alrighty, let's head on to our very last clip, which comes from a very special camera that I don't believe has launched yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, this is your chance. But it is a camera that we will be able to start experiencing from tomorrow. It is based on the western corridor of the Serengeti, and it is in Serengeti Explorers. I think that is by Eliwan. I think that is the right name of the camp, if I'm not mistaken. And it's going to be really interesting. We do have a clip from it because the camera has obviously already been installed, but keep an eye on this camera in the next couple of months because the migration is going to come that way first. So generally goes around, and one of the first spots that they're going to hit is the Grumeti River in the western Serengeti, which is where these guys are going to go. I'm just excited to see a bushbuck, to be honest. Oh, it's definitely rainy season up there. Is that a lion or is that a leopard? It's a leopard, right? A leopard. Well, not a bad baptism, is it?
Leopard, that's cool.
Talk about it.
Is it a camera? It must be a leopard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is.
Sometimes I doubt myself.
Oh, hello. Well, that was a very interesting close-up on the rear end of a leopard, if anybody was wondering.
Definitely a male, in case you're not sure.
And I think that you were hearing that sounded like a person coughing. That wasn't you, it wasn't Taylor, wasn't anybody. Like a lot of the animals, especially in the beginning, they bark or they make a noise, an alarm call when they see a potential predator, just to let the predator know that they've been spotted. So it's like, no funky business, I know you're here. So hopefully it wasn't a person. Hopefully that was just that bushbuck in the area. But that was actually a really cool thing, and it seemed like it was marking its territory. So keep an eye on the camera, because if it did it this time, that leopard is bound to come back and drink from there or carry on marking its territory. It'll be really nice. That'll be interesting to see how it comes when all of the wildebeest come back.
Oh, that'll be amazing.
Yeah, that would be very cool. I think this is a really good grand opening for a new camera, isn't it? I mean, also
who doesn't want a leopard?
But it's like, it's been an interesting show because we've started with the overachievers. So how do you go on game drive after witnessing the wild dogs and the hyenas? Yes. And then be like, oh, cool. This camera just started with a leopard, on its very first thing. So how do you top that up?
Yeah, no, it will be a tricky one to do. And I bet all the guests will have incredible sightings from the lodge itself of just so much wildlife. If there's a leopard there, can you imagine what else is moving about?
Well, pretty much everything. I'm sure it's a little bit scary. Kim Twister, you're saying awesome lightning. They need the rain. Well, I was recently up there, not in Serengeti, but on the other side in the Mara, and there's plenty of rain coming. I can promise you that. There's a lot of rain, but those thunderstorms in the Mara, and then Taylor can agree with me, are fantastic. Or in the Mara Serengeti ecosystem, I should say, they are just beautiful. It's just the sky is endless, the thunder, the light, it's precious. It is really cool. And it's the reason why the wildebeest are going to come back. So it must rain. But it's cool. I think that is everything from us today. What a nice bunch of clips. So we'll see you guys probably next week at some stage. But if not Taylor and I, then you'll see one of us. And enjoy the rest of your afternoon. We'll see you guys next time.